Good day, class! Today, I am going to discuss to you visual information and multimedia. So now let us proceed with visual information. According to them, a picture speaks 1,000 words. This is the power of visual information. What is visual information? These are the sources, or these are sources that are visible to the naked eye and in form of visual aids, visual presentations, models, displays, still photographs, motion pictures, or clips with or without sound. Now what is visual media? This involves any symbols, such as pictures, icons, signs, and others that communicate with one's sense of sight. Okay, now let us proceed to the examples of visual media. We have ideograms. Also, we have statistical visualization. We have pictures. We also have graphic design. Here is an example, video. And also, we have 3D image. When we say ideograms, these are graphical symbols that represent ideas, meaning they are just plain graphical image without textual or without written words, but you still know the idea it represents. Example of such are signs, logos, and symbols. Next is statistical visualization. This refers to the study and creation of data using visual representation. Mostly you're going to see this one when you're using Microsoft Excel. These are charts and graphs which uses statistics or numbers, and they are considered to be statistical visualization because it's a combination of numbers and graphical representation. Next is picture. Picture is or can be considered as the photography, painting, or drawing. It is used widely by people to express their ideas, opinions, and sentiments. Next, we have the graphic design. This refers to the art of combining text and pictures to communicate information. This is not just plain picture, it has written text on it that somehow explain what is being shown as a visual. Example of such are infographics, posters, and graphic advertisements. Now let us have videos. These are a combination of motion picture or of motion and audio. Example of these are films, short clips, music videos, and what you are watching right now. Next is the 3D image. A three-dimensional visual medium can be a sculpture, an architecture, a real-life object, or even a person. Just take note, if you want it to consider as 3D image, it must be under 3-dimensional. What do you think is the difference of visual media and visual information? When we say visual information, these are the information that person gets from visual media. Meaning to say, the visual information depends on the visual media. Visual media is the source of the information that you get from it. Now, think of it this way. The very purpose of visual information is to gain attention, create meaning, and facilitate retention since it has visual representation. Since visual media will give you visual information, and in order for you to not miscomprehend the visual information, everyone must have visual literacy. So now, what is visual literacy? Visual literacy is synonymous with reading pictures appropriately. Okay. Visual literacy has been defined as your ability to understand, interpret, and evaluate visual images accurately. Because some of the visual media or visual images do not come with textual explanation. That's why we need to interpret it the way we understand it. So one should possess visual literacy. Okay, what is visual literacy? It is about analyzing and creating messages based on the images. It is based on the idea the pictures can be read and that meaning can be communicated through a process of reading. Those who create visual images such as photographs do so with purpose in mind using certain techniques. In order for you to read or analyze an image, you as the audience must be able to understand the purpose and recognize these certain techniques. Now, how do we understand how photographs communicate? According to Baker F. on 2012, the following are few techniques and strategies by which a photograph convey meaning. First is the angle. Next is the framing. Next is the light, the focus, and composition. Now let us proceed with the angle. How photographs communicate using the angle. Angle refers to the vantage point or direction from which the artist photographs the subject. There are different angles in photography. Next is through framing. Framing is deciding where the edges of the image will be. The photograph determines that you will and will not see whether the subject will fill the frame and appear close up or will be seen at a distance as a part of a larger context. Now let us proceed with light. Light. It is the most powerful tools of the photographer. The manipulation of light and dark and the sharpness of contrast between light and dark contribute to the mood of a photograph conveys. Next is the focus. The clarity or blurriness of the image, the range between the nearest and farthest things that appear in clear focus defines the photograph's depth of field. And next is the composition. Composition answers the question, what is the foreground? Are the elements arranged in any particular pattern? Do you see any geometric shapes? Are the lines of the photograph straight or curving, thick or thin? Do you see any visual elements repeat? Those questions, once answered, is the composition of the photography. Now, according to Peterson on 2015, he enumerated a number of guidelines to make visual message simple and easy to understand. Now, here is the guideline for picture. If you're going to create an appropriate picture, or if you wish to create an appropriate picture, aesthetically beautiful picture, first, you need to write caption to explain the pictures so that it will not be miscomprehended. Choose illustrations carefully and use visual sequencing techniques, photography, drawing techniques to present complex ideas. Leave out unnecessary elements to avoid excessive details. Next, guidelines for creating symbol. Use color, position, size, and shape. Use a combination of pictographs and words. And use realistic figures rather than the abstract one. Now let us proceed with the guidelines according to Peterson for maps. First, restrict number of visual symbols on maps or the legends. Keep it simple and detailed, and be consistent with the design that you are about to use. Next, guidelines for color. Use color to express a certain emotion. Use color to emphasize or play an element down. Use color to show differences or similarities. Use color to help readers recall information or discover new information. Just take note when you are going to use color, if that is in a dark or the color will be dark background, so you must use light color as a text or as a drawing on it. Thank you very much for listening.